1 minute smarter, every market clearer. Welcome to my channel, I'm Claire. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's deep dive. Recently, a black swan event occurred in the global power battery industry chain that is significant enough to be recorded in business history. Let's take a close look at the latest disclosure document submitted to regulators by LNF, the South Korean battery material giant. The data within is simply staggering. This isn't just a statement about an order change. It looks more like a cleanup of the wreckage after a technical myth has shattered. The story traces back to early 2023. At that time, Tesla and LNF signed a supply contract viewed by the outside world as a milestone in Tesla's vertical integration strategy, with an original amount totaling a staggering $2.9 billion. Back then, a high-spirited Elon Musk was declaring that Tesla would completely break free from reliance on suppliers and achieve full independence in self-produced batteries. However, latest regulatory filings show that the remaining execution value of this contract has been rewritten to, wait for it, $7,386. Please note, I didn't miss the word million or billion. It is literally just over $7,000. What does this figure represent? Interestingly, data shows this is merely equivalent to the monthly salary of an average blue-collar worker in the US, or just the cost of a few components in a Tesla factory. From $2.9 billion to $7,386, the shrinkage exceeds 99%. In rigorous business logic, this is not a contract modification. It is essentially a contract reset to zero. It means Tesla has effectively terminated its large-scale cooperation with LNF on cathode materials for self-produced 4680 batteries. To understand why this contract, which once carried Tesla's ambition to disrupt the industry, ended in such an absurd way, we must delve into LNF as a company and the technical logic behind this deal. LNF is a leader in the South Korean battery material industry, specializing in high-nickel cathode materials. I find this point fascinating. In the electrochemical system of ternary lithium batteries, the higher the nickel content, the greater the energy density and the longer the range. For a stainless steel monster like the Cybertruck, which is massive, has high aerodynamic drag, and has almost demanding requirements for energy density, LNF's high-nickel material was practically the only choice at the time. In February 2023, Tesla chose to bypass traditional midstream battery makers like LG and Panasonic to sign this $2.9 billion direct supply contract with an upstream material provider. This was considered a great strategic victory at the time. Tesla was not only going to build batteries, but also directly control raw materials, attempting to drive down costs to the maximum through an economies of scale model. However, the cruelest part of the business world is that all grand promises are built on forecasts. Musk's predictions for 4680 battery capacity and his optimistic estimates for Cybertruck sales now appear to have hit the brick wall of physics and the market. While LNF euphemistically explained this in documents as a change in supply volume, analysts see a deeper crisis. Tesla is returning goods, cutting orders, and walking away with its losses. The fuse for all of this points directly to the single vehicle deeply tied to the fate of the 4680 battery, the Cybertruck. Everyone surely remembers the hype of over 2 million pre-orders when the Cybertruck was unveiled. If even half of those pre-orders converted into actual orders, LNF's $2.9 billion material contract might not have even been enough. But reality has given everyone a loud wake-up call. First, there's the illusion of the conversion rate. Reserving a Cybertruck only required a $100 deposit, which was fully refundable. This means the massive data was inflated by speculators and curious onlookers. When the production price was announced, and people found the starting price nearly 50% more expensive than promised, and that the range didn't hit the expected God-tier levels, a huge number of orders vanished instantly. Even more fatal is the severe disconnect between capacity and delivery. Tesla repeatedly stated a goal of 250,000 units in annual capacity for the Cybertruck, and deployed a massive 4680 battery production line at the Texas factory. But according to market tracking data, from 2025 to 2026, the actual situation is embarrassing. Even with machines roaring in the factory and Musk claiming a smooth production ramp-up, industry observers estimate that by the end of this year, the total annual delivery for the Cybertruck might only be around 25,000 units. 25,000 versus 250,000. Actual output is only 10% of the claimed capacity. This is a fatal ratio. In the capital-intensive automotive industry, a 10% capacity utilization rate means extremely high fixed-cost allocation. For LNF, they prepared inventory and production schedules based on a scale of 250,000 units. When Tesla suddenly announced a 90% reduction in demand, the original tiered discounts became invalid, the foundation of the procurement agreement ceased to exist, and that $2.9 billion strategic agreement naturally became a scrap of paper. But if it were just because the car wasn't selling, Tesla could simply stockpile the batteries. The deep reason for the total collapse of the contract likely lies in a technical mystery that Tesla has kept secret: the dry electrode process. In traditional battery production, manufacturing electrode materials is like painting a wall. First, chemicals must be mixed into a slurry coated onto metal foil, and then sent into a huge oven dozens of meters long to dry. This process consumes massive electricity, takes up vast space, and is inefficient. At the 2020 Battery Day, Musk painted a grand vision. Like pressing noodles, they would directly press dry chemical powder into a thin film to attach to the electrode. If successful, production costs could drop by 50% and investment costs by 2/3. This is essentially the holy grail of battery manufacturing. However, a holy grail is a holy grail because it is extremely hard to obtain. More than 5 years have passed since 2020. Although the Texas factory announced mass production, deep industry teardowns indicate that the current 4680 battery is likely just a half-finished product. Specifically, Tesla may have only achieved the dry process for either the cathode or the anode, and in some batches, they might have had to return to the traditional wet process to ensure yield rates. The dry process looks beautiful in a lab, but when scaled up to a mass production line producing thousands of cells per minute, the uniformity of powder distribution, the stability of pressure control, and structural strength under high current charging and discharging all become insurmountable obstacles. Because the yield rate is too low, the cost of self-produced 4680 batteries is actually more expensive than buying batteries from CATL or LG. Under these circumstances, Tesla, as a rational business empire, must make a fundamental strategic retreat. Since their own production lines aren't running smoothly, why stockpile so much expensive LNF high-nickel cathode material? This adjustment is an optimization on the balance sheet for Tesla, but for a supplier like LNF, it is a catastrophe. When news of the contract value plummeting broke, Tesla's stock price inevitably faced volatility. Bears believe that Tesla's broken promise on battery technology means its lead as a tech company is shrinking, and it is returning to being an ordinary car company trapped by capacity and materials. But I believe this volatility is more like growing pains. Tesla's strength lies not in its ability to fulfill every promise on time, but in its extremely high tolerance for error and its ability to pivot quickly. This asymmetric power structure is the cold confidence of Tesla as an industry hegemon. Since self-produced 4680 batteries are stalled, Tesla is rapidly activating Plan B. Interestingly, data shows Tesla is shifting its focus back to its old comrades. The first key observation target is Panasonic. As the longest-term partner, while Panasonic's process tends to be conservative, its yield rate is extremely high. Panasonic has already built 4680 lines in Japan and the US and has begun sending samples to Tesla. Tesla clearly realizes that professional tasks sometimes need to be left to professionals. The second is LG Chem, which is also developing its own 4680 version. With the termination of the LNF contract, it's not ruled out that Tesla will turn to purchasing finished cells produced by LG rather than struggling to develop manufacturing processes while buying materials themselves. An even more important trend is the full counterattack of lithium iron phosphate, LFP, batteries. Musk is an ultimate pragmatist. While the 4680 represents the future of high energy density, the core demand of the market right now is affordability. Under cost pressure, Tesla plans to use LFP batteries more widely in mainstream Model 3 and Model Y versions. LFP technology is mature, low-cost, and has a long lifespan. Most importantly, it doesn't require the expensive high-nickel materials provided by LNF. This means the strategic status of the 4680 battery is undergoing a subtle shift. It may no longer be the foundation for the entire vehicle lineup as previously claimed, but instead be downgraded to a halo technology reserved only for the high-performance Cybertruck or future high-performance model series. Speaking of this, we have to consider a deeper question. Has Tesla's vertical integration hit the boundaries of the laws of physics? For a long time, Musk has championed first principles, believing that by controlling every link from the mind to the steering wheel, costs can be pushed to the extreme. This model has seen great success in software, electronic architecture, and even gigacasting. But battery chemistry might be an exception. Battery manufacturing is not just automation engineering. It involves complex electrochemical reactions and material crystallization control at a microscopic level. These accumulations cannot be achieved in a short time simply by stacking programmers or automation equipment. Tesla's setback with the 4680 is actually a tribute to the laws of physics and a century of accumulation in the chemical industry. It tells us that even Musk cannot defeat time in every field simultaneously. This setback has also triggered a trust crisis in the supply chain. Previously, suppliers were proud to enter Tesla's chain, even willing to go into debt to expand capacity, but now LNF's experience serves as a warning. When a customer has overwhelming bargaining power and the ability to flip the table at any time, is such a partnership an opportunity or a trap? This may lead future suppliers to demand stricter take-or-pay clauses and stop putting all their eggs in Tesla's basket. In summary, the zeroing out of the LNF contract indeed tears away the dreamlike exterior of Tesla's self-produced batteries to reveal a harsh reality. It exposes a risk. Even the world's strongest electric vehicle company faces huge uncertainty when challenging cross-disciplinary underlying industrial manufacturing. Vertical integration is a double-edged sword. It can bring ultimate gross margins, but it can also create massive internal friction when technology gets stuck. However, judging that Tesla is falling from its pedestal, based solely on this, would clearly underestimate the company's core nature. Tesla's stock price has never been a calm lake, but a turbulent ocean. Looking back at the past decade, from the production hell of the Model 3 to the repeated iterations of FSD, Tesla's core competitiveness lies precisely in that almost paranoid ability for self-correction. Even if self-produced 4680 progress is slower than expected, it still possesses the world's largest circle of supplier friends. Even if Cybertruck deliveries slow down, its layout in intelligent driving and energy storage remains profound. In the long run, this pain is more like a necessary detox. It forces Tesla to re-examine the balance between making and buying, and allows the market to squeeze out the bubbles from over-mythologizing 4680 technology. In business history, truly great companies are often not those that never make mistakes, but those that have the ability to redefine the rules after recognizing the cruelty of reality. Once you understand this vitality of finding a plan B amidst violent fluctuations, you might find your own certainty behind Tesla's constantly shifting financial statements. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more updates. Feel free to leave a comment. I'm looking forward to connecting with you. Until next time.